Hello everyone, and welcome to the Legacy Blue Solos tutorial series. This series is intended to be a detailed walkthrough of a full Blue Angels show sequence from both of the number 5 lead solo and number 6 opposing solo perspectives in the DCS World FA-18C Hornet.
We aren't experts or real former pilots, we're just fans. But we've studied hundreds of hours of footage from the real team and put in hundreds more hours of practice in the sim to bring you this practical guide.
We hope you enjoy, and if you find these valuable or you learn something, consider throwing us a like or subscribing to our channel. Thank you.
This video is intended to supplement our maneuver-focused videos and covers the whys of what we are doing rather than the whats or the hows.
You probably found this video because it was mentioned in one of our maneuver tutorial videos. This will give you some of the philosophy behind the way we like to perform the Blue Angel solo profile in DCS.
So, why did we choose to do this in the first place? We started flying DCS because we are brothers living apart and wanting to stay connected.
We started learning the Blue Angels solo routine because we wanted something to focus our time in DCS, and because we had grown up seeing the real US Navy Blue Angels Flight Demonstration Squadron perform at the Seafair Air and Water Show every August in Seattle, Washington.
When we started, we had no idea there were organized groups in DCS and other flight sims who do this that we could join or fly with. Because there are only two of us, flying as lead solo and opposing solo was the obvious way to learn the show.
Once we started learning the solo routine, we quickly found all those other groups, their videos, their incredible mods and liveries and Discord servers, and we recommend them all to you. Links are below. They're a great community. We've used their mods and flown in missions they purpose-built for Blue Angels shows, and even flown with some of those groups a few times.
But, pretty early on, we decided that we were going to strike out on our own and learn to do this without any of the mods or custom-built missions. Why? Because we wanted to be able to fly the show at any location, on any server in DCS. What's the point of working hard to learn to do something cool if you can't show it off?
And who doesn't like an impromptu air show, right?
So, the first things to know about how we approach our DCS Blues solo routine is what we don't do.
We don't use mods. We don't use custom missions. We don't even have a diamond.
And we are not a milsim team of former or wannabe Navy pilots. Those are all fine, but we wanted to be able to have fun flying this demo in vanilla DCS world, and we want you to be able to do it too, if you are willing to put in the work. So, if we don't do all that stuff, what do we do?
We fly the Blue Angels solo routine in the stock FA-18C Lot 20 Hornet made by Eagle Dynamics. That's it.
We may use a custom livery here or mod the airshow smoke so that it lasts longer there, but for the purposes of these videos, we won't use any of that. If you have the DCS F-18, you can do exactly what we're going to teach you in this series. All you need is a dedicated buddy and the Hornet, and you're good to go.
It's also important to clarify that our version of the show is not the exact show that the real US Navy Demonstration Squadron flies. We think it's very close, with a few small exceptions, but it's not an exact replica of the real thing, and it's not intended to be. Everyone who does the show in a flight sim, from DCS to Roblox, has to make compromises.
For instance, the real guys do not fly with a helmet-mounted display, or HMD. But because of the limitations of DCS and of simulation in general, we do use the HMD because visual references change for us in the sim in a way that they don't in real life. Having a stable center point reference that remains outside the HUD that we can see no matter what is a huge benefit. We also don't have the benefit of a team of signal officers on the ground making sure that we can see the comm cart at center point.
We also are not flying with a diamond, and so we are not using the stopwatch. That's partly so that we're not using a mod, but that's also because the stopwatch is primarily helpful for setting up timings with the diamond, and we don't have one. It also helps time inbounds for opposing maneuvers, but we found practice can achieve a lot of consistency, and so we don't need the stopwatch. That said, if you know you'll be flying with a diamond, you should probably use a stopwatch.
This brings up a general point that we think is really important to mention. Even though we are not trying to imitate the real Blue Angels exactly in every detail, we've noticed that over the last year and a half, as we've learned and polished our version of the show, it has, over time, gotten closer and closer to the way the real guys do it. That's because there are very good reasons for why the United States Navy Blue Angels Flight Demonstration Squadron do everything they do. Many of the lessons they learned were learned in blood, sometimes literally.
Learning to do the show well, for us, has become a process of learning to appreciate just how right the real way to do it is. We're not reenactors, and we don't feel pressured to do everything exactly like the real guys, but a lot of our show is exactly like they do it because it works. It's safe and repeatable. And that high level of performance and consistency is what marks the Blue Angels as the premier flight demonstration team worldwide. So we might start using a stopwatch at some point, not because that's what the real guys do, but because the reason the real guys do it will help us fly a more consistent, tighter, and better show.
So, now that we've explained why we're here doing this the way that we do, it's time to ask yourself, why are you here?
If you're watching these videos because you're looking to learn a version of the Blue Angels air show in DCS, we made these videos for you, and we hope they're helpful. If you're new to DCS and are curious about what's possible, you are also the reason we made these, because we believe any sim pilot who is willing to dedicate the time and effort required can learn to do this just as we have.
If you are here to nitpick our performances or critique our choices, feel free to leave a comment. We're always looking to improve, and we don't believe for 1 second that we've perfected this. As you do so, however, please be polite and encouraging to people who have come here to learn. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to learn our version of the Blue Angels solo show. But no matter your reason, we hope you're ready, because that's enough philosophy. It's time to get in the jet and fly.